issue, and every gay person is different. And I think that to speak the church, the black church or white church or any kind of church you want to call.
At the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, agents from Homeland Security Investigations approached and separated Sean Diddy Combs from others present, placing him under arrest. They led him out of the front entrance in handcuffs. According to his lawyer, Combs had traveled to New York 2 weeks earlier with the intention of turning himself in. He did not anticipate that agents would be waiting for him at his hotel last Monday night. In response to the incident, 4 of Combs' 7 children have spoken out publicly for the first time since their father's arrest, posting a statement on Instagram to address and dispel false rumors about their mother. Meanwhile, a new accuser has come forward with additional allegations against the music mogul. In a surprising twist, Bishop T.D. Jakes is now facing scrutiny after CNN released new footage showing him in close proximity to Combs shortly before the arrest. Known for his significant influence in both religious and entertainment circles, Jakes has previously been linked to Combs' lavish parties, sparking speculation about the nature of their association. Jakes himself commented, saying, "I may not be your pastor. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay," as the public reacts to his unexpected connection to the scandal surrounding Combs, who faces serious charges including human trafficking and racketeering.
What about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TD Jakes?
I'm looking at him as
There might be more to these parties than what we see on the surface. I've spoken to preachers, reverends, and priests, but I've never had any of them come to a party with me or anything like that. It's hard to figure out what's really going on without jumping to conclusions, but I've heard rumors that some tapes might be released soon. When that happens, I guess we'll all finally know the truth. Sean Diddy Combs found himself at the center of a high-profile legal battle on Tuesday when he was denied bail after facing serious federal charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting individuals for the purpose of prostitution. In a packed courtroom in New York City, Combs stood before U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnowski, where he pleaded not guilty to all the charges. The case has already garnered significant media attention, not only because of the severity of the allegations, but also due to Combs' long-standing fame and influence in the entertainment industry.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous, and then...
The decision to deny bail for Sean Diddy Combs followed a highly charged hearing in a New York City courtroom, where the atmosphere was tense as prosecutors laid out a damning case against the music mogul. They portrayed Combs as a figure deeply entrenched in criminal activities, arguing that his actions posed an ongoing and severe threat to the community. The charges against him include sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transporting individuals for prostitution, offenses that alone would be enough to keep most defendants in custody. However, it was the alleged steps Combs has taken to evade justice that seemed to most concern the prosecution. During the hearing, prosecutors asserted that Combs had not only engaged in these criminal acts, but had also gone to great lengths to obstruct justice and cover up his involvement. They cited instances where they believe Combs used his substantial wealth, influence, and connections to hinder investigations and intimidate potential witnesses. This is not just about the charges themselves, one prosecutor emphasized. It's about the lengths Mr. Combs has gone to in order to avoid accountability. His financial resources and global reach, they argued, made him a significant flight risk, capable of disappearing or manipulating the legal process from behind the scenes if released. They painted a picture of a man with the means to leverage his multi-million-dollar empire not only to evade justice, but to potentially influence those around him to do the same. Prosecutors described Combs as someone with the power to sway decisions, move assets discreetly, and communicate with key associates who could continue his operations in his absence. They argued that his ability to manipulate outcomes on such a scale was a core reason why bail should be off the table. On the other side of the courtroom, Combs' legal team, led by the renowned attorney Mark Agnifilo, launched a vigorous defense aimed at securing his release on bond. Agnifilo sought to dismantle the prosecution's portrayal of Combs, arguing that the severity of the charges alone was not enough to justify such an extreme measure as denying bail. He emphasized that Combs has strong ties to the community, including his family, business investments, and philanthropic efforts, all of which pointed to a man unlikely to flee or act as a threat. Agnifilo highlighted Combs' long-standing reputation as a prominent figure in both the entertainment and business worlds, noting that throughout his career, he had consistently cooperated with authorities when called upon. He portrayed Combs as someone who, despite his wealth and influence, has always been committed to his community and the rule of law. These charges, while serious, do not reflect the character of a man who has never been a flight risk and has always faced his challenges head-on, Agnifilo stated. He also pointed out that Combs voluntarily came to New York, intending to address the legal issues directly, a gesture he argued was inconsistent with the image of a man trying to evade accountability. The defense argued that keeping Combs in custody without bail was not only unnecessary, but also unjust, given his track record of compliance and his substantial investments in the community. They sought to cast doubt on the idea that he would use his resources to flee, pointing out that his reputation, legacy, and the well-being of his family were all tied to remaining in the public eye and clearing his name. Ultimately, despite the defense's efforts to downplay the prosecution's claims and emphasize Combs's cooperation and community ties, the judge ruled in favor of the prosecution. The decision to deny bail underscored the court's concern not just with the gravity of the charges, but with the potential for Combs to obstruct justice if released. The case has now moved forward with heightened scrutiny from both the media and the public, focusing not only on the legal battle ahead, but also on the far-reaching implications for Combs's career and his legacy in the entertainment industry.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest the guy.
A day before his arrest, Sean Diddy Combs was seen out and about in New York City with his family, appearing to be in good spirits. Despite maintaining a calm demeanor in public, Combs soon faced a major setback in court. He pleaded not guilty to all the charges against him, but Judge Robin Tarnowski ultimately sided with the prosecution, denying his bail request. The following day, Combs's legal team, led by his attorney Mark Agnifilo, immediately filed an appeal against the judge's decision, but their efforts were unsuccessful and Combs remained in custody. The denial of bail marked a significant turning point in Combs's legal battle, highlighting the court's view on the gravity of the charges he faces. The decision to keep him in custody underscored the seriousness with which the court is treating the allegations, signaling that this is far more than a routine legal proceeding. As the case moves forward, Combs faces not only the immediate threat of a legal downfall, but also the potential long-term damage to his public persona, career, and legacy. Prosecutors continue to press for Combs' detention, arguing that his wealth and influence pose a significant risk to the community and to the judicial process itself. Meanwhile, Combs's defense team is preparing for a protracted legal fight, determined to counter the narrative set by the prosecution. This battle is expected to unfold not just in the courtroom but also in the court of public opinion, with media coverage intensifying the scrutiny on every development. Following Tuesday's hearing, Mark Agnifilo, Combs's high-profile attorney, addressed a crowd of reporters outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. He expressed unwavering confidence in his client's innocence, stating firmly that Combs did not commit any of the crimes he's accused of. "He's been looking forward to this day," Agnifilo said. "He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name." His words suggested that Combs and his legal team are gearing up for what could be a long and intense legal battle, with a focus on vindicating the hip-hop icon's reputation. The charges against Combs were detailed in an indictment that was unsealed on Tuesday morning, mere hours after federal authorities took him into custody. According to multiple law enforcement sources, including CBS News, Combs' arrest was the result of an extensive investigation led by Homeland Security Investigations. The unsealed indictment laid out a sweeping list of allegations dating back to 2008, when prosecutors allege Combs became entangled with a criminal organization involved in a range of serious offenses. Among the most severe accusations in the indictment, prosecutors allege that Combs was directly involved in acts of sex trafficking, forced labor, and other crimes designed to exploit vulnerable individuals for profit. The indictment claims that Combs played a central role in coordinating these illegal activities, using his wealth and status to evade detection and accountability for years. These allegations, if proven, could have devastating consequences, not only for Combs' career, but also for his legacy as a trailblazer in the music industry. As the case against him continues to build, Combs finds himself at the intersection of a legal and personal crisis, where his public image and his life's work hang in the balance. Both his supporters and critics will be watching closely as new details emerge and the courtroom drama intensifies. With prosecutors pushing to hold him accountable, and his defense team steadfastly fighting to clear his name, the coming months promise to be a defining chapter in the life of Sean Diddy Combs, one that will test his resilience and determine his place in the public's eye. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs have escalated, with the unsealed indictment accusing him of crimes such as kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors portray these accusations as part of a larger pattern of behavior tied to an organized criminal enterprise, suggesting Combs played a central role in orchestrating these illicit activities over the years. The unsealing of the indictment represents a major breakthrough in a long-running investigation, with law enforcement emphasizing that it's the culmination of years of diligent work. Combs' defense team remains resolute in their efforts to clear his name, but the extensive nature and severity of these charges pose a significant challenge for the hip-hop icon. Beyond the legal ramifications, this case could also profoundly impact his legacy and influence within the entertainment industry. During a press conference, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams of the Southern District of New York detailed the case, revealing that there are multiple victims, although the exact number wasn't disclosed. He urged others who may have been affected to come forward. The indictment alleges that since 2009, Combs has used violence, threats, and coercion to manipulate victims and protect his reputation, leveraging his business empire to carry out these acts under the guise of professional ventures.
They claiming that Diddy, he was blackmailing his victims because he had videos from old freak-offs and he was using those videos to get his victims to do another.
The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has sent shockwaves through the public and the entertainment industry alike. It paints a stark picture of a man who allegedly used his power, influence, and vast resources not just to commit heinous crimes, but also to shield himself from any form of accountability. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams emphasized the gravity of these charges, stating that the indictment outlines a deeply troubling and systematic pattern of abuse. According to Williams, Combs allegedly went to great lengths to conceal his actions, protecting his reputation and the financial empire he has built over decades. The charges against Combs include allegations of coercion, drug distribution, bribery, and violence, all seemingly designed to maintain control over his victims and ensure their dependence on him. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson highlighted the severe legal consequences that Combs could face if convicted, noting that the charges could potentially lead to decades behind bars. Levinson pointed out that the nature of the offenses, which include acts that prosecutors allege began in 2009 and continued over the years, could expose Combs to significant prison time if the accusations are proven in court. However, Levinson also suggested that this high-profile case might not even make it to trial. Given the severity of the allegations, she speculated that Combs' legal team might pursue a plea deal or other strategic negotiations to avoid the uncertainties of a courtroom battle. Most cases do not go to trial, Levinson explained. Most result in a plea deal, and we can expect that in the coming days, weeks, and likely months, Combs' attorney and the federal prosecutors will potentially try to find some common ground about a plea deal. It's hard to escape the idea that such a deal might include some prison time. The details of the indictment are particularly disturbing, painting a picture of systematic manipulation and exploitation. Prosecutors claim that Combs allegedly orchestrated elaborate scenarios in which women were manipulated into engaging in explicit acts, sometimes with other individuals, in locations carefully selected by Combs. According to the indictment, he used a combination of coercion, threats, drug distribution, and control over these women's careers to keep them trapped in these situations. The document further alleges that Combs exploited his vast influence in the music and entertainment industries to suppress any resistance from these women. Leveraging his financial support and threatening to withdraw it to maintain control over their lives, Williams emphasized that the investigation into Combs is far from over, hinting at the possibility of additional charges being brought against not only Combs, but also others who might be involved in this alleged criminal network. He stressed that no one, regardless of their wealth, fame, or influence, is above the law. This statement has led many to speculate about the potential involvement of other individuals within Combs's inner circle, raising questions about how far-reaching this alleged enterprise might be. The scope of the investigation suggests a multi-layered criminal enterprise that goes beyond just the actions of Combs himself. As the legal proceedings unfold, it's becoming clear that this case is not just about the personal actions of one man, but rather a broader, more systematic pattern of behavior that could implicate others in his orbit. Williams's comments highlight a commitment by the Southern District of New York to dig deeper into these allegations and bring anyone connected to justice, regardless of their social standing or public persona. One of the most shocking elements tied to the indictment involves a specific incident from 2016. Earlier this year, CNN aired footage from hotel security cameras that allegedly captured Combs attacking singer Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, in a hallway of a Los Angeles hotel. The disturbing nature of this footage has drawn significant public attention and has added to the growing list of allegations against Combs. Following the release of the footage, Combs issued a public apology in May, calling his behavior inexcusable and stating that he took full responsibility for what happened that night. While his admission seemed to acknowledge the seriousness of the incident, it also raised broader questions about his history of conduct and how he managed to evade accountability for so long. The indictment further alleges that Combs attempted to bribe a hotel security staff member who intervened during the altercation with Cassie, trying to persuade them to keep the incident quiet. This alleged attempt at manipulation only adds another layer of seriousness to the charges, indicating a deliberate pattern of using his power and influence to cover up his actions and avoid facing the consequences. This case against Combs not only threatens to dismantle his personal and professional legacy, but also poses deeper questions about the complicity of those in his inner circle. The ongoing investigation suggests that other individuals linked to Combs could face legal scrutiny as the authorities continue to peel back the layers of this alleged criminal operation. The potential for new revelations and additional charges looms large, making this an evolving case with far-reaching implications. For Combs, the stakes are extraordinarily high, both legally and reputationally. If the case goes to trial, it could mean a long and drawn-out legal battle that tests his ability to navigate the justice system. On the other hand, a plea deal, while potentially reducing some of the legal risks, might still require him to serve time in prison and would almost certainly tarnish his public image. In either scenario, the legal and public spotlight on Combs will only intensify, challenging his influence and status in the entertainment industry. Ultimately, this case is not just about the legal fate of one of the most influential figures in hip-hop. It is about examining the power dynamics that allowed someone in his position to allegedly engage in such behavior unchecked. As more details come to light and the investigation progresses, the broader implications for the music industry and for those who enabled or turned a blind eye to these actions will become a critical part of the conversation. The unfolding legal drama promises to be a defining moment, not just for Combs, but for the broader cultural landscape in which he has been a prominent figure. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs are deeply concerning, with prosecutors claiming he referred to various incidents as freak-offs. They assert that Combs not only orchestrated these encounters, but also recorded them, using the footage as leverage to manipulate the victims. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams highlighted that Combs allegedly distributed controlled substances to his victims, which heightened their vulnerability and made them more susceptible to his influence. The indictment details a multifaceted strategy of control, where Combs is accused of using the sensitive recordings as collateral, creating a culture of intimidation and compliance. This manipulation reportedly extended to providing drugs, threatening to cut off financial support or housing, and even dictating the victims' appearances. Prosecutors argue that the victims felt they had no choice but to comply with Combs, fearing for their security and facing potential abuse if they resisted. Further allegations include Combs brandishing firearms to intimidate both victims and witnesses. Agents from Homeland Security Investigations conducted raids on his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, uncovering firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15 rifles. Combs was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, having come to New York with the intention of turning himself in. His attorney criticized the government's approach, suggesting that they arrested him instead of allowing him to surrender voluntarily. Combs has pleaded not guilty to serious charges, including racketeering and trafficking. A 2016 video depicting him allegedly attacking his then-girlfriend, Cassie, has been cited as powerful evidence of his potential danger to women. Currently incarcerated in a federal jail in Brooklyn, known for its harsh conditions, Combs faces a stark contrast to his previous lavish lifestyle. His attorney insists that he is focused on mounting a defense against the serious charges he faces.
Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that,
At the heart of the case lies a 2016 video obtained by CNN, which shows Sean Diddy Combs allegedly assaulting his then-girlfriend, the singer Cassie, and dragging her toward a hotel room. Federal prosecutors have stated that this footage serves as compelling evidence of the potential danger the hip-hop mogul poses to women, leading 2 separate federal judges to deny him bail. In recent months, Combs has been involved in several lawsuits alleging misconduct and violence, all of which he and his representatives have denied. Notably, in November 2023, a lawsuit was filed by a woman claiming that Combs assaulted her during their relationship. However, they reached a settlement the very next day. As the revelations about Combs continue to unfold, prominent figures like T.D. Jakes are increasingly concerned that the carefully constructed image they have maintained may soon come crashing down. The implications of a conviction for Combs are significant, not just for his career, but also for his legacy. With potential consequences including a life sentence for racketeering and a statutory minimum of 15 years for the trafficking charge, the seriousness of these allegations cannot be overstated. As the legal proceedings progress, the stakes have never been higher. A conviction would dramatically change the trajectory of Combs's life, impacting not only his personal and professional future, but also how he is remembered in the public eye.